There we go.
You can put more wood on if you want. It wouldn't hurt.
All right, this is.
Are you joining in, Colin? Or are you just gonna like
Just-
quip from the sidelines?
I'll quit from the side.
Okay.
Okay.
This is episode 20 of basically Derby Dave and I.
Thanks to COVID.
Yeah. This is. It is now 2021. It is January 2nd. So we are going to do our year in review, blog, podcast, whatever.
The whole principle of this, when you started this a year ago, almost a year ago,
It was March.
Was to like explore the people of 519.
I know we've already discussed this.
Yeah, and now it's gone. So it's just you and I.
Pretty much.
So is it Area 519 now, or are we gonna change the name?
I don't know. I don't even know how you change the name.
I was gonna say Shelley and Dave, but it should be Dave and Shelley. Derby Dave and Shelley.
Whatever. I don't care. I'm not.
Okay.
Not possessive.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean
of my name going first.
Continue.
But yeah, so this is our year in review. So we're gonna go over the year of 2020, what has happened in world news, local news, what's gone on in our lives, and possibly discussing what we think might happen and what's in store for 2021.
So we're gonna be future tellers.
It could be fortune tellers.
Future
tellers.
Not fortune. Future.
So I thought 2020 was a great year, to be honest with you.
I had a great 2020. I mean, it started off kind of rocky for me, but it was one of the best years of my life for sure.
I thought it was
absolutely.
great.
I had a blast.
We did. There was a lot of good times. COVID didn't really affect my life too much.
It totally changed mine.
Yeah, but for the better.
Oh yeah, all for the better.
Yeah, for the better. Yeah. I went to work every day.
I didn't.
Maybe my year wasn't that great then. Wow, geez, you just kind of put that in a whole different. Fuck, 2020 did suck. Man, I went to work every day. Oh, dude, killing me here. But yes, I did. I did not lose my job. I was able to work every day. Nothing really changed. My life, my schedules with my kids never changed. I still got out and did things that I like to do, so on and so forth. Obviously, certain events, large gatherings, events that I very much enjoyed to attend.
Oh, the Smash Up Derby, that was...
Yeah, like the Demolition Derby, that was a kibosh, and that was
always something that we did and loved, and had a great time. And
and the beer tents and stuff in Goderich and some of the festivals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, 2020 was a great year for me.
Well, and I hate to bring up the COVID thing again, but the inconsistencies.
Well, we're going to talk.
No, we're going to talk about it because it's affected everybody's life to some degree. Some more than others. Sheldon went to work every day. I didn't. But the inconsistencies in it, even to this day, we're creeping up on a year. And you would think that if the government's going to put all this crap on us, they would at least learn that the masses appreciate consistency to some degree.
Okay.
And the inconsistencies are still all over the place.
Elaborate.
One prime example is I would love to go, like we're on lockdown now, and we're not supposed to go anywhere or do anything, but I don't know, if I took, say, you and a couple other friends, and we went up to Lake Simcoe and rented an ice hut on the ice.
Yeah, okay.
And we just drove up there with all our supplies that we bought locally, drove straight out on the ice, parked beside an ice hut, fished there for 2 or 3 or 4 days, because they have ice huts that you can sleep in. And then drove back. Somebody comes in behind us that we pay for, and they disinfect it. What's the problem with that?
I don't see any problem with that.
I think that's totally safe, totally logical. There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
Illegal. Can't do it.
But yet, you can
go rent a hotel room. And then leave that hotel room every day and drive out onto the ice. They clean the hotel room while you're gone every day. and then you come back to the hotel room, and you can do that all you want. But you can't just drive there onto the ice and stay in an ice hut.
I think by doing the hotel thing, I think you cross paths with
way more
people than you would
Yeah,
be with four guys
Absolutely.
spending a weekend literally on the ice.
We could literally drive from here to the hut on the ice and not contact anybody.
That's right.
However, if you're dealing with a hotel room and then going on the ice and coming back every day, you're going to contact people.
Yeah,
So,
it's
the inconsistencies in it all are that's just a small example, but they're all over the place. Like the dollar store is open still. You can walk into the dollar store and buy anything you want. But Canadian Tire or Home Hardware, you have to call ahead, pay with your credit card, they'll leave it on the curbside, you pick it up. But
Yeah,
the dollar store, like, the fuck?
yeah. I don't think that's like essential. I don't know. Is it? To some
They're
people-
open, you can walk into the dollar store and
I
buy
don't know.
crap.
I don't know. I guess to some people, maybe the dollar store is like
The Chinese people, it's definitely
Oh,
essential.
absolutely, 100%. Same with Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart.
Like,
you can go in.
Walmart's never gonna close.
I think Walmart should be open with everything fenced off except their food section. Because why in the hell can you go into Walmart and buy furniture, but you can't come into my store and buy furniture? Piss on that. Fence it off. Nope, can't sell the furniture. You can only sell the food. The essential part of the store stays open. The rest is closed.
It's an interest.
Why the hell can you go there and buy furniture, but you can't come in my store? I'll tell you right now, there's a lot less people come through my store to buy furniture, and the contact and the safety protocols that occur in my store are way better than what occurs in Walmart. You put 3,000 people a day through Walmart and 3 people a day through my store, but my store can't be open because it's a risk. Come on, bullshit.
And why do you think that is? Obviously, it's got, I think, money.
I think it's all about money. Walmart is paying the government to fucking close us down. That's all it is. It's conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's not even theories. It's not a theory. No, it's fact. I'm saying it's fact.
Okay.
Like, come on, really?
Hey, I'm not.
I have to close my doors, but Walmart can sell furniture?
Yeah, I get it.
Dollar store can sell you fucking crap? Come on. It's a dollar store.
So, the mother of my kids bought my kid for Christmas these little tiny little tables for my kids to do crafts and shit on, right? I think she paid like $4 or whatever for them, and I think my son smashed his.
I was just gonna say.
all the legs and everything broke
His
out,
toast.
ripped the screws out of the cheap press board, and just completely just fucked it.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy it for the next couple hours because it's going to be broke after that. Yeah.
But
Not a DL creation.
no.
But you're not allowed to come in right now. Sorry.
But no, like 2020 is actually like, yeah, it's been a really good year for me. I really don't have anything to
Oh, the
complain
fishing
of.
we did this spring was phenomenal.
Oh, like we did fishing. For those of you that don't know, like I've been restoring an old Cadillac for 5 years. I'd pretty much finished it. I was able to get it out on the road and drive it this year, which is like huge for me. I got some other things up and coming I can't disclose at this point, but like 2021's looked like shaping up to be looking to be a pretty good year for me as well. Like,
speaking of all of this, like we're in another lockdown now. Did you get enough toilet paper before this lockdown happened?
I don't know. I don't really use much toilet paper.
I don't know. You're full of shit, so I would let it go quite a bit. But I made sure to stock up. That happened last time, so I was kind of ahead of the game.
Yeah. Actually, before we started this podcast, for the first time ever, we did some prep work.
I was supposed to just lead into it and not get to the list yet.
Okay.
I was trying to just flow this and not let people know we actually planned this one.
Oh.
Well, we didn't plan it, but made
No.
notes.
Right. Just some basic. So we notes and stuff.
Oh, that one got blown all to hell.
Oh, did it? So you had a segue all planned?
Yeah. Well, it's all shit now, so.
Anyway, we did some research before and came up with some world events, things that my viewers might find interesting, some things that our viewers may have forgot about things that happened this year in world news, events and sports and music and so on and so forth.
It was actually interesting because as we went through that list, I mean, COVID has been so dominating. Like, I mean, you listen to the radio, you listen to the news. The only news in the world is COVID. Nothing else is happening, apparently.
Well, there's other things happening. But
No, the world's ground to a
COVID,
halt. COVID is the only thing that matters in the world anymore. There's no international news. Nothing's happening in the world. It's just COVID.
Okay. However, could
That's what we found
Okay.
interesting.
okay, it's one of those slide of the hand things. There's other shit that goes on in the world. Corrupt. Yes.
You
Yeah.
said slide the hand.
Yeah, slide of the hand. Yeah, there's other shit that goes on, you know, and I'm, conspiracy theory, but there's always shit that's going on in the world. But I also think that COVID is also a great distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just feed the media, feed the people COVID, 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 COVID. And everybody's so focused on what's going on over here.
Nothing
COVID,
else.
COVID, COVID. But meanwhile,
You can do anything you want over there.
over
Nobody
here,
notices.
you can do anything you want because nobody's paying attention to that. Nobody cares about that because the media's got everybody so focused in trying to, I think, scare the population about some virus that I really don't think is as deadly as what they lead it on to. But I just think there's just everything's about COVID and there's other shit going on that, but everybody's
Well,
just,
even
it's
just in the
it's a-
basic,
it's a
just
huge-
even in basic things that we were looking up that were from this year that we'd forgotten about.
Yeah, completely forgot about it.
Completely forgotten about.
But yeah,
There was that one guy, George
the George Floyd thing.
Floyd. Yeah,
Um,
I almost said George Dudley, but that was a few years ago.
yeah, we were trying to what happened? Like, what were some like super big events other than COVID? And it was like, oh yeah, the fucking George Floyd thing, and then that whole Black Lives Matter thing. Like that was that dominated the news for a long
Yeah,
time.
for a little while.
That was huge, and just all kinds of fucking Black Lives Matter. And I'm not gonna get into it, but that was.
Oh no, we're gonna get into it.
Oh, are we?
Well, it was a bit like all these brands started changing their
Oh
branding
yeah. Like,
because of it, and it's just, to me, it was so ridiculous.
okay, we talked about this before. Like someone was like a sports team or something was going to change their name.
Yeah,
or
Colin
something.
will know that. I think there was a few.
But
of
was
them.
that? Hey, Colin.
Yeah, it's Cleveland Braves.
Yeah, but okay, was that a spin-off of the Black Lives Matter thing, or is this a thing?
Well, no, it's been in the news for years about them.
Oh, okay.
Them changing. I don't know if George Floyd finalized it, but
But anyway, yeah, this like these sports teams, being forced to change their names or whatever, and then there was the whole fucking Aunt Jemima thing where it was like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me, but that definitely was shit that was rolling
Like, I don't know,
on the social media anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, like Aunt Jemima or anything that has an old black lady on it as a brand.
Yeah, it's like, who gives a shit? It's fucking.
Well, I mean, who's gonna cook better?
Yeah.
Aside from my mom.
I seen, we talked about this earlier, but there was a couple memes I seen on Facebook making fun of the whole, Aunt Jemima thing. And there was one that had a picture of Mike Tyson on the bottle and it just said Thurup. And then the best one I seen, it was a picture of the Aunt Jemima bottle, but it had a picture. They took out Aunt Jemima and they put in Samuel L. Jackson, and it was called motherfucking syrup.
There's always gonna be some good Facebook
I
stuff.
thought that was so funny. And then there was another one I seen on the topic of Samuel L. Jackson. It was some people call it OCD. I call it put the motherfucking thing back where it belongs.
It's that simple.
But yeah, the Black Lives Matter. That was.
It was quite a movement,
It certainly was.
and I don't know what it
Is
still
it-
is.
Is that bullshit still going on?
Oh my god.
It's
guys,
not bullshit.
It's got significant repercussions on our cultural identity.
I'm sorry. It's just,
Are you willing to come over here and pipe in on this?
No.
I don't. When I say bullshit, that's just my.
A lot of it, I think,
General.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't see the need to rebrand when you've got a brand that
Yeah.
is something that is relevant and significant.
Yeah.
So what? You can't have a black lady on a syrup bottle? She makes good syrup. So
I think
what?
Uncle Ben's was like a thing
Yeah, Uncle
too.
Ben's
Yeah,
was
the
a thing
rice
too.
thing,
Yeah.
There
I don't know if that
some-
was actually a thing or if that was just Facebook memes.
That could be. You can't really.
Like, I don't know where to get my information from anymore.
Yeah, I don't think Facebook memes are like a legit source of
No?
news.
I based my life on that.
I know, and it's great conversation, but
Now I have to rethink my whole political standpoint
I know.
because Facebook doesn't really.
I know. I seen actually I just seen this on Facebook just the other day. It was like something to do with no, it's a perfect example. of it.
Okay.
And it was something to do with fucking Joe Biden had 5 years ago had secret meetings with blah 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 about some fucking pandemic called fucking something. It was like an abbreviation of COVID or whatever, yada yada yada, and that this was. And then at the bottom it said, if you're stupid enough to believe this to be true, you need to stop. You need to stop using Facebook memes as a source of your news or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just like, they made it sound like totally legit, like the underwater firefighter thing. And then at the end, it was just like, you're an idiot. Like, stop thinking Facebook is fucking real news.
I don't know. Joe Biden was at the Queen's inauguration in 1954, and he was an old man then.
Yeah. That's another big thing in world news is obviously everybody knows Donald Trump got, I guess, voted out.
Not according to Donald Trump.
Not according to Donald Trump. But whatever, corrupt or not or whatever, Joe Biden will be the new president of the United States. In like
If he lives through it.
2 or 3 weeks or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gonna miss the whole Donald Trump as president.
It was entertaining. It was great entertainment.
Like all the night shows and stuff was like rock solid material.
When
for
do
like
you watch
4
night shows? You don't even have internet or TV or anything.
I read it on Facebook.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, I don't watch any of that shit. But apparently,
Except for when you're at work.
I don't watch late shows when I'm at work though. But yeah, it was totally like rock solid material for all those Saturday Night Live, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's never been a more entertaining president, that's for sure.
I like this beer better than the last keg.
Yeah, no, this is a different one. This is the shit, I don't remember which one this is.
Anyway, it's better than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we have? I have written down.
We've got a lot of lists here.
Yeah, there was.
I was kind of hoping to lead into it kind of piece by piece instead of just like reading the list.
No, we're not just gonna go over them.
Well, what's this shape you have here?
That was supposed to be like an explosion, like
Oh, that's the
the
Beirut.
Beirut
Was that?
thing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of politics behind that too.
I
right?
don't know anything about it. I just seen a video of just something blowing up, and I was like, "Holy
Oh
fuck,
yeah, I
that's
know.
all
There's
know.
so that ship. I can't remember now. I actually did read it, not on Facebook, an article about that. And what was the details on that one? The Beirut explosion. The ship was held there for some reason or abandoned there because the government wouldn't let them do something.
Yeah, it was sitting there for a really long time.
It was there for years. And it was something political, the reason that it ended up there. So the company abandoned it because of the politics behind moving the boat.
Okay.
And then, it was full of fertilizer and blew up.
Oh, was it the boat that blew up?
There was the boat. Yeah, it
I
was
thought
the
it was a
boat.
building that blew
No,
up.
it was the boat.
Oh.
It was the boat. Yeah, there's politics, huge politics behind the reason that the boat had been left there for years. It was full of fertilizer, and then, eventually it just blew up.
I thought it was a building.
No, it was the boat beside the buildings.
Oh. So
Yeah,
like a
no,
harbor.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it was in the harbor. It was the boat. The boat exploded.
I just see.
You got to spend more time on Facebook.
I just watched the video of this. Would look like to be a building exploding.
No, it was the boat beside the building.
Oh, I never heard that. I should have spent more time on Facebook.
You should,
I
yes.
guess, and got,
Scroll further.
and
You
got
didn't
the
scroll
facts.
far enough to get the facts.
and got the facts.
You gotta really scroll a lot.
Yeah, I don't. what was it, the Harvey Weinstein thing?
Harvey Weinstein, who's that?
There was some, I don't know, whoever Harvey Weinstein is.
I don't know, my Facebook
I
feed
guess
must
he
not.
was
The
like
algorithms didn't feed me that one.
drugging chicks or something. I don't know. What's the whole Weinstein thing about?
He raped some girl.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
sexually harassed and abused. Yeah.
Well, that happens all the time. Why is he special?
Yeah. Why is he special?
He got caught.
Well, because
He got caught. There's more to it than that.
Not really.
well, finally women came forward and yeah,
Oh, so it's a reoccurring
it
thing.
was a very often reoccurring thing. Yeah,
So he was in a position of power?
absolutely. Yeah.
What kind of power?
Was he a movie director,
Producer director.
producer,
A
director?
producer director that was like, hey, you can get the part if you do this and this kind of thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, a manipulative son of a bitch.
Yep.
Okay. So anyway.
So there's class action suit then?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's that story, apparently.
Criminal.
Yeah, that was kind of boring. Actually.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about it. Facebook
No.
didn't tell me.
No. And then the forest fires in Australia.
Yeah, apparently the koalas suffered there.
Yeah, that was what, back in the summer? That happened?
Well, that'd be their winter.
Generally when forest fires-
They're on the other side of the equator.
No, but like our summer, not their summer.
Well, it'd be their winter.
So, but anyway, yeah, there's some big forest fires in
Don't
Australia.
they get snow there? to Deal with the fires?
in Australia?
Yeah, in the winter?
Do
It's
they?
winter there.
Did they get snow in Australia?
No, they don't.
I
get
know
snow
they
in
don't.
Australia.
I know that.
So if you're in Australia, that means at Christmas it'd be full on summer.
I guess.
That'd be like us having Christmas in August.
Yeah, I guess. So I took my kids tobogganing the other day. My kids are like, Daddy, where are we going tobogganing? I'm like, we're going tobogganing in Mexico. And they're like, there's no snow in Mexico.
I would come.
But yes, I am well aware that it does not snow in Australia.
Speaking of Mexico, I don't think that's happening for me this year.
Oh, what'd you decide?
I know I decided against it
Oh yeah.
For what reason?
for now.
You seem to be pretty set on it there a couple weeks.
I was very set on it, but I've started looking at, and it's nothing to do with me being paranoid about catching COVID or any of that
absolutely
crap.
not.
Like that's not the thing. The thing is, like, so I tentatively booked this trip for Dags and I to Mexico for the 23rd. We were gonna leave.
Yeah.
Which is the first day out of this lockdown. But then I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do with airlines. Like right now, Ford himself said there's 60,000 international people
Yeah.
coming a day through Pearson alone
Yeah.
into the country. But
And-
they only account for 2% of the COVID cases.
Yeah, and 3/4
They're
of them
COVID.
probably aren't isolating or.
Well, and that's the other thing is a lot of them aren't. They're not isolating, but nobody's tracking it. Nobody cares.
How do you track it?
Well, you'd have to put together a team of people to either. I mean, you can do a phone call. Well, I can answer the phone and say, "Oh, I'm at home. Yep, no
Yeah.
problem. I haven't left." Or people got to randomly stop in and check and create
Yeah.
that fear that they might stop in and check. They only have to do it once or 3 or 4 or 5 times, but you never know when they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But then the government has to make a team, and they have to make records of it, and they
There's
have to
millions
hire
of
people,
dollars
and then they finance. There's 60,000 people a day
just in
They've
Pearson.
done that.
just in Pearson.
Yeah.
It is
So how many people do you need to track all that, right? Like, this is just unrealistic. And the numbers of people that are traced back to those international flights are so insignificant they're not doing it.
Yeah.
But what are they going to do by the end of January? And if we go for 2 weeks, then we're into February.
Yeah.
So, getting into mid-February, where are things going to be then? Like, are they going to say, oh, you can't get on a plane unless you have a vaccination? And we're in Mexico. Where the fuck are you going to find
Yeah.
a vaccination in Mexico?
And apparently there's like this new strain of COVID
Yeah,
or
this new
something,
strain.
and apparently
Yeah, they shut England down, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. No, we missed it. It's all over the world now.
Yeah,
Which it is.
I heard, I don't know, this was like
Blah,
a week
blah,
ago,
blah.
there was 3 or 4 confirmed cases in Canada, which were linked to coming in
England.
from Europe and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Blah, blah. So I was just like, I had to pay for the trip, which was a decent amount of money.
Yeah, how'd that work?
And
Paying for it.
So if I paid for it in full and then I couldn't go, then I can cancel it, and I have the credit that I can use.
So you paid the money.
No, I just put a deposit.
Okay.
And then I was waiting till the 28th is when I had to pay in full.
Right.
So on the 28th is when I really had to decide.
Yep, that's crunch time.
Yeah. And I was like, do I invest this chunk of money into this trip or not? Because if I invest it and I don't go, the money's stuck there.
It's that
It's an
money is-
indefinite, indefinitely it's stuck. I can go anywhere I want in the world with that money. But it's still stuck there.
Yeah, that money's
And
tied up.
then who knows how long it could be till I use it.
Right.
Who
So-
knows what's going to happen?
so how
Like a
much
year ago right now, it wouldn't have even been a thought. I would have just paid for the whole trip. Right?
Yeah.
I did a year ago. I paid for the whole trip in full, booked it, done. But now it's like
Well, how much was the deposit?
$500.
Non.
And that's, well, it's still a credit. I still have the $500
Okay,
bucks as a
so-
credit
Okay.
with Transat.
Well,
So-
it's still better than $5,000 being tied up.
Yeah, well, and that's what it would have been for the whole trip.
Yeah, and that was for 2 weeks.
2 weeks all inclusive. So the $500 is, I have a $500 credit with Transat, and that's better than the $5,000 one because
Yeah.
it could be years until I could use that again.
So what are you gonna do with the $5,000?
I was gonna hold it for now, just sit on it.
Just sit on it,
Well, I don't know.
incubate it, and see if it hatches into $10,000.
I'm gonna try to find a good investment.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to find an up and coming company. Up and coming.
Coming.
An up and coming. Sorry, my brain's going faster than my mouth right now. An up and coming company, and maybe sink $5,000 into that.
What about DL Creations?
No, I'm talking like one that's gonna like go places where you can buy shares 10 cents now, and they're gonna be worth $75 in 2 years.
Why don't you invest it into 519 Talks?
That's a good idea.
Like
So how's 519 Talks gonna use my money? No, I have half to say in this, but I'm
I don't know, we
interested
can
in
get
your
some like cool cameras and edit and shit, and have like a cool little intro
and credits.
and credits at the end.
Yeah,
yes.
Google's definitely gonna be on the credit
Oh,
list.
absolutely, 100%.
Well, and those microphones that sit right here where people just can't quite see them.
No, you want the microphones.
Oh, you want the microphone
Yeah,
here?
like on Joe Rogan. They got like the booms and shit and the headphones and all that fancy
Okay.
shit. But no, you don't want to invest your money in this.
No,
Cell phone works just fine.
Oh.
I think so.
I think our last podcast only had like 50, 60 views anyway. So
That's it.
that's it.
People, you disappoint me.
It's all right. Whatever. I got my
Like, share. What is it? Smash. They say I was saying
smash the like button.
Smash the follow button. Follow button.
or smash
The follow button.
or
Smash the like
subscribe,
and follow.
whatever.
Subscribe.
Yeah, there's just whatever.
Just smash some shit on your phone.
Yeah, just smash, subscribe, like. I don't give a Yeah. What else did we?
I don't know. I'm curious now. I'm onto this list thing.
I think that was pretty much it for like.
No, there's another one where you said where do I, oh, that was the team names one. How do I draw an Indian?
Yeah. We went. I went and well, I didn't. I made Colin do all the research for me, but
Oh, celebrities.
the sports championships of 2020. We had Stanley Cup champions of 2020 was the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that was just a whole fucky situation with the whole COVID thing and the way they did the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, because you're such a huge sports guy. But yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning were the Stanley Cup champions for 2020.
What's the Stanley Cup?
Shut up, Dave. NBA champions were the LA Lakers. I could care. I don't know anything about basketball, but NBA is pretty huge now. LA Dodgers were the World Series champions for baseball, and the Kansas City Chiefs were the Super Bowl champions for 2020. Oh, and I do have, and then I had the Murder Hornets thing.
Oh, the Murder Hornets, yes.
Yeah. I don't even know where that came from, if that was...
No, the
even-
Murder, they showed up in BC and some other place in the eastern U.S. and western U.S. Sorry, western. The Murder Hornets there was a group of people that actually seeked them out and destroyed them. But they come from Asia somewhere, and they're a hornet. They're a fairly big hornet.
Like that big.
No, they're big. Yeah, Google it. Look it up. They're a big hornet. They're big.
Okay.
And they do prey largely. They do love honeybees.
Like
And their honey.
okay.
They'll go into a hive and kill them all and steal their honey. So if they did get established, they would be a real serious problem. And if you do stumble on their nest and disturb it, even unintentionally, they lose their shit and kill you.
Yeah, they'll light you up.
They'll light you right up.
And
Yeah.
And you'll die.
However, when they're away from their nest, they're extremely docile. From what I understand, I think Vietnam, I want to say they're from, but I'm not sure of that. But they'll actually have people, like, they'll have the elders sit by the honey hives, and
Right.
they just swat the murder hornets away. And they're
Okay.
trying to get into the hives. And the murder hornets is like, oh, okay, or whatever. And they fly off to find another hive. But if you actually disturb their hive,
You're gonna get.
that's when the shit happens. Shit hits the fan. I've never done that.
What's that?
I'm gonna do that at the barn. Shit through the fan. Well, I've always used the expression "shit hits the fan,"
Shit hits the fan.
but I've never actually tried putting shit through a fan.
I would suggest not trying to get your ass up to the fan, and actually I'd maybe
No, not my
grab
shit.
some shit.
Cow shit.
And
Yes.
throw some
throw
shit.
through the fan. I'm gonna
I thought you
do
meant you're
that.
actually gonna literally
I
try
am totally.
and try to take a shit in the fan.
Once we figure out how to edit stuff, we're gonna do that, and we'll just edit it in.
Shit, that's actually. I started throwing handfuls of shit through the fan. So.
Well, those are epic fans.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, if you get a good, like, you'd have to do a double fister, but yeah.
That would go pretty far, actually.
I know. Yeah, it would be entertaining
Yeah.
as hell.
But there is one thing that saved 2020, and that was the new release of the new AC/DC album, Power Up.
Right.
That like
It would have been a total letdown otherwise.
absolutely. AC/DC came in and completely saved 2020 with brand new music, brand new album. I was absolutely ecstatic when that came out. I did come up with Colin came up with a list of celebrities that we lost in 2020. It was a huge list actually, but I didn't even really know who a lot of them were, so I just picked out the
So
ones.
how much of a celebrity were they if you didn't know who they were?
Yeah, I don't know. But we went through the list, and I picked out the ones that I knew and familiar with. And at the top of the list, we lost, I believe it was October 6th. Edward Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen, passed away from throat cancer, I believe it was, at the age of 65. Eddie Van Halen was definitely probably in my top for guitar heroes. Obviously Angus Young from AC/DC.
Yeah, but Eddie had some real face-melting guitar.
Oh,
riffs, for
absolutely.
sure.
Eddie Van Halen was one of the
Love
most
him.
brilliant, phenomenal guitar players ever. But yes, we did lose Edward Van Halen this year. Alex Trebek, the host from Jeopardy, passed away this year. You ever watch Jeopardy?
Mhm.
What's the most answers you've ever got?
Oh, I didn't play the answers.
You did?
No.
I think the most I ever got was like 4 in a row, and that was it. And I think that was the kids' version. I think it was the kids.
But Jeopardy always had a really important place or role in a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies where there were scenes set up around Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And people would sit down to watch Jeopardy, and then that, with the bowl of popcorn or whatever,
Yeah.
the old husband and wife, and then shit would hit the fan, and that's when,
Yeah.
whatever. So Jeopardy went way beyond just our own
Yeah.
living rooms. It went into other people's living rooms, which came back into
I'm
our
not
living rooms.
not sure how many years Jeopardy was on the air, but it was really
a few.
it was a few years.
Yeah,
But,
as long as I can remember.
yeah, but
And we're getting old.
Alex Trebek, and I think it was like pancreatic cancer or something. Don't quote me on that.
Don't quote us on anything.
Yeah, don't quote us. We get our news from Facebook. So.
Maybe we should put a disclaimer at the end. That's the first thing on the credits.
Kobe Bryant. Who did he play for?
Lakers.
He played with that's L.A.
What, you knew that?
He's he's kind of a big deal.
You know, Kobe Bryant was a big deal, but he was a professional NBA basketball. Did he have championships too?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Was he good looking?
That's a trick question.
I do know he did. It was a helicopter crash, and I think he had.
That's a good answer.
And I think he had like all of his family with him too, or his daughters or something.
His daughter.
Oh, okay.
14-year-old daughter.
But yes, Kobe Bryant did pass away this year. Charlie Pride passed away this year. For those of you who don't know who Charlie Pride is, he's an old country singer. Charlie Pride was huge with my upbringing. Both my mom and dad loved listening to Charlie Pride. There was a lot of Charlie Pride played in the house on records and stuff. Mom and dad would be sitting up at night on the weekend playing cribbage or whatever, having drinks, and Charlie Pride would very often be playing on the record player. So, and you ever know that crystal chandelier? Oh, the crystal chandelier lights up the painting on the wall. That's all I got. It's all the lyrics I know. But anyway, Charlie Pride. And then another somebody from music was Neil Peart from Rush. He passed away, I think it was January of 2020. I think he had brain cancer or something. But Neil Peart was the drummer from Rush. He was very well known as one of the best drummers of all time. I actually listened to a thing with on Howard Stern's radio show where they were interviewing Lars Ulrich from Metallica, and they were asking like who's the best drummer of all time, and it was like John Bonham from Led Zeppelin or like Neil Peart, and that was basically like. But Neil Peart was known for one of the best drummers of all time, and he left us in 2020 as well. Sean Connery passed away this year. I think I only know Sean Connery is like from 007 James Bond playing in the James. What else did he do?
What else did he do?
I only know him as playing James Bond. Like a very well, like one of the top actors that played James Bond.
Yeah.
Hunt for Red October.
That's all I know. I don't really know any, but
he did one or two other movies.
I know he was a pretty big deal. So
yeah.
I didn't know who this person was, but Chadwick Boseman, an actor. I guess he played Black Panther or something. I don't really know much about it, but Colin seemed to think that I should have this on the list, that people would know who he is.
Did you want to inject something there, Colin?
Yeah, I know his big name.
Okay.
Colin's shy. Kenny Rogers.
I know that name.
Penny passed away this year. Everybody, the gambler.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Rogers had just a mountain of hits. I also same thing. I also very much Kenny Rogers was a huge part of my upbringing as well.
You sang a lot of them.
Yeah. I still.
The Gambler is one of your favorite songs, is it not?
I actually know that song word.
Oh, I know. I've heard
it's
you
one
sing
of
it
the
a
few songs that I actually know word for word
without singing along with the song.
Yeah. But yeah, Kenny Rogers did pass away this year, and one last one. was Rocky Johnson, which was Dwayne the Rock Johnson, his father. He was a very, very well-known wrestler. Obviously not as famous as his son did become, but Rocky Johnson also passed away this year. That's all I got on my list. If you know of any other ones that are big that
Did we cover everything on the list already?
Yeah, I got that. Talked about that. Talked about all that. Yeah, that's everything on my list.
Wow, it seemed like a long list. We went through that pretty quick.
Yeah, we did go through that pretty quick.
So do we make more interesting lists or longer lists?
I don't know. We can make them more interesting next time.
I've never tried this listing before, so.
I don't know. Do we have any predictions for this year? What may or may not happen?
Well, I think once everybody's vaccinated, the infertility rate's going to go through the roof.
All right, that's one thing I want to actually talk about. All right, this whole vaccination. You got paper towel somewhere?
Yeah, there's, no, under there.
The vaccination thing.
Top shelf.
So when this vaccination comes out, or it actually is out, some of my friends that work in healthcare have already have taken this vaccine. I don't know. What are your thoughts and opinions on this COVID-19 vaccine? I'm actually genuinely curious. I don't think we've really talked about that even.
No, the
outside of
vaccine
this.
thing is no. Wow, we haven't even talked. No, not even outside. This
No,
is
that's what I'm
a
saying.
virgin conversation for us.
Absolutely.
I don't. Normally, a vaccine takes minimum of 3 years to develop.
Right.
And a year ago, right now, this wasn't even a thought for a vaccination.
Not here in Canada.
No, well, yeah, definitely not.
COVID wasn't even a thing in Canada.
No,
here.
I hadn't even left for Mexico yet, and I didn't hear about it until I got back. And everybody's
That's
like,
right.
"Oh, did you hear about
Yeah.
this?" And I was like, "No, I didn't care about anything in the world when I was in Mexico." It just seems too much, too quick for something that's so international.
I don't know. My thoughts on it is, yeah, like this vaccine thing kind of came out pretty quick.
Too quick, yeah.
Like
how do you conduct a long-term study on something that?
yeah, exactly. Like I've never even taken a flu shot. I've never.
Because it's bullshit.
I don't know. I've never taken a flu shot. I know a lot of people are like, yay, like they're just super happy that, okay, great, we got a vaccine. And there's people that are like fucking lining up down the street to get this.
Yeah.
I really have no interest in taking this vaccine. I think at this point, the only way I would take this vaccine is literally I was backed into a corner.
Well, they're not going to force us to do it. They've already said we're not going to force anybody. You don't have to take the vaccine.
But what are
But
the
if you
repercussions?
don't take the vaccine,
Right.
you can't go into a mall. You can't get on an airplane. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't go to whatever, right?
Right.
So you can't do anything if you don't take the vaccine, but you don't have to take it.
Yeah,
Your
so that's
choice.
what I'm saying. It's like, are they seriously going to push, like, if you don't take this vaccine, you can't do anything?
You're going to get a little card, and then if you don't have that card, you can't get on an airplane, you can't go into a mall, you can't go into a movie theater, you can't go into a stadium.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's it.
I don't
It's that simple. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, I know, but so basically, it's like they are forcing it on you, and by just if you don't take it, we just remove all your rights and all your freedoms.
Well, it's not a right to get on an airplane. It's not a right to walk into a shopping mall. It's not a right to walk into a movie
You know what I
theater.
mean?
They're just going to strip you of all the things you want to do.
That's right.
And let's face it, as humans, you're way more willing to make sacrifices for something you want than something you need. I think it's infertility. The biggest problem with the world today is there's too many people. So there's just they're gonna have something in there that'll switch
Oh,
your DNA to
okay,
mess
so
with
you think that
fertility
this-
and
So this is like,
drop the world's population. Which we could use a little drop of population. There's too many people. If the entire world lived like we do in North America, this planet could not support it.
oh, absolutely not.
Our society is based on the fact that other people in the world live in squalor.
I believe it was your Uncle Dwight
Mhm.
that said, this was a few years ago in deer season, that North America uses up 90% of the world's resources.
I don't know if it's 90, but it wouldn't be far off. I mean, that's changed too from when he said that.
I'm almost
'Cause
sure it
there's-
was like
there's-
80 or 90%. That,
It's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
Like
that-
the world can't, the whole entire planet can't live.
like we do.
9 billion people can't live like we do.
Absolutely not.
We're based on dollar stores of crap from China.
Yeah.
And Indonesia and many other countries, but India, Mexico.
So when do you think by like when do you predict, or do you think that this whole with this vaccination thing where they're going to start taking away people's freedoms or abilities to do things without a vaccine, do you think that is going to happen in this year?
Oh yeah. By summer.
You think?
I that is part of why I'm leery to get on a flight to Mexico at the end of this month, because I wouldn't be surprised if a month or two from now you're going to see you can't get on an airplane without a vaccination.
I don't know. I don't like it at all.
I'm going to live in Canada and never go to a theater again and never travel internationally and never go into a mall. I don't go into malls anyway. I don't go to movie theaters. The only one that's a catch for me is airplanes. Because I do like to travel. I do like to go places.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm an anti-vaxxer. You know, like when your kids are born, they get their vaccines
Yeah,
for
you get
polio,
polio
and
Yeah, it's smallpox. I got it right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there. Yeah, I
But,
got the smallpox one.
but
Some of them are valid and legit, and
But,
some of
you
them
know,
not so much.
these vaccinations have been around for decades, like a really, really long time.
I was one of the last ones to get the smallpox, and that was 77.
Yeah. But I don't know, this whole COVID vaccine.
Oh shit,
is
and everybody knows how old I am.
Shh.
Well, I don't look anything like it. I look like a spring chicken still. So.
You do. I don't know. I don't like this whole forcing this.
We're not forcing it.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's almost like I'm not going to get biblical by it, but there is, and I've seen same thing Facebook, but how this whole vaccination thing, a lot of people believe that it lines up with predictions in the Bible from Revelation about like with the mark of the
There's
beast
been
and-
everything lining up with
Yeah,
predictions
and
in the
I'm not-
Bible for the last 1,000
Yeah, and I'm
years.
not. That's not what I'm saying. Is like, but I'm just saying it's an interesting thing that how the way this vaccine's coming up and and how it kind of may or may not line up with prophecies and Revelation.
They're not
about-
stamping 666 on you
I
when you get the
know,
vaccine.
I know, but I've heard theories that this vaccine is like a tracking device or whatever.
Yeah, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. If you want to get into the whole end of times and biblical things of it, this is more leaning towards the one world government than anything else.
Okay.
First of all, they want to do a cashless society,
Yeah.
right? And I said this at the beginning of COVID, like, I don't know, 15 podcasts ago.
Yep.
Or more, maybe. Today I called and I was like, I need some plywood to fix, I want to fix up the boat. So I called the hardware store and I'm like, okay, what's the whole COVID deal here? Can I come in, or can I, do you have enough food in this store, like a dollar store, that I can come in, or like, do you need to add some more snacks, or what's the deal? And they're like, no, it's curbside pickup only. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be coming, I'll be paying cash. They're like, no, we don't take cash, just credit or debit. And I'm like, cash is legal tender.
Yep.
They refuse to
Right
take
now.
it. Yeah, they refuse to take it. I'm like, well, how can you refuse to take it?
And they wouldn't take it.
Nope. Cash or it's credit or debit only. So I can swipe my card in and punch all the numbers and take my card back out. Like they take the, they take it, they punch in the numbers, they hand it to me.
Yeah.
After their hands have touched it so many times.
Yeah.
And then they take it back and do whatever and then give me the receipt. Well, they didn't disinfect it in between. What the hell's the difference between that and cash?
Yeah.
The only difference is the government wants everything. Herbert, shut up. The only difference is that the government has track of this and they don't have track of where this came from.
Right.
That's it. It's the only difference. It's still the same contact.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, cashless society.
So cashless society gives the government all the power because then they can do anything they want with your money whenever they want. A couple clicks of a button, your money's out of your account.
Well, really, for the most part, like I know, with my finances, I'm cashless for the most part right now. Like I very rarely have cash on me.
Yeah, you're perfect. That's what they want.
I know, everything's just swipe of the debit or tap or whatever. Like you can go into Tim Hortons and get a coffee for $2 and you just tap or
you don't even need a card anymore. You just use your phone.
Yeah, exactly. You just use, but I'm pretty. I think I got a $50 bill in the console on my car that's been sitting there for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I very rarely, and for the most, not many people do.
I'm not saying nobody should pay taxes. I think everybody needs to pay taxes. But I think it needs to all be fair, and no one person or one group of people needs to have control over everything.
So they hold back to the inconsistencies.
What do you mean by inconsistencies?
I don't know where I'm really going with this.
No, I don't know where you're
was kinda
going with it
hoping
either.
you're,
No, it's not an inconsistency. It's very consistent. They want all the control.
right. But there's certain people get taxed more and other people get taxed less.
Oh, yeah. Well, then you're getting a whole other political discussion.
Right. And we're not going to do that.
Well, then you get... But yeah, then you're getting into the whole society that we live in, where it's a capitalist society, and in a capitalist society, anybody can do anything they want. There's no reason why the poorest person can't become the richest person.
Right.
However, the fact is, if the more money you have, the more money you can make.
Right.
So someone who's on the bottom, well, I looked it up the other day. In Canada alone, I'm going to look this up again just to make sure I'm accurate on this number, because it is ridiculous what the banks do with this. It actually infuriated me when I saw this. Because the number is just... This is about overdraft fees.
Okay.
How much did... No, not Dodd. Was it 11 billion? Okay. But then the States was way more. That was just in Canada. Overdraft fees in 2019. Yes. So banks in Canada took $11 billion in overdraft fees in 2019. So that's $11 billion the banks made off people that had no money. $11 billion in 1 year. And the States was $34 billion. So North America, 34 plus 11 is $45 billion. $45 billion the banks made in North America off of people that have no money. 34 billion. That's from the average Joe. So now think about it. If you're in Ontario and you're making $15 an hour,
yep,
and you get a $50 fee because your insurance bounced,
an NSF,
so you get a $50 fee, and making $15 an hour after your taxes are taken off of that, how much do you have to work? You're working almost 3/4 of a day, 2/3 of a day, just to pay for that bounce fee.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get ahead. I'm going to work some overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you worked overtime. What does the government do to your fucking paycheck then?
That's right.
So you try to get ahead, and the government just takes you, bends you over, no Vaseline, right up the ass. Good luck getting ahead. But somebody that already has a bunch of money, your parents got rich, you inherited the money, you can just go buy an apartment building, and then all these people that aren't making any money can't get ahead, rent a room off you, and you profit off it.
Hmm.
So a capitalist society is great for somebody who has money.
Right.
But if you don't have money, you're fucked. You've got to be ingenious and illegal to get ahead.
It's interesting. I don't think I've ever had that conversation before.
Well, now you have.
Yeah.
And you need to think about it. Everybody needs to think about it.
Hmm.
I think a capitalist society is great if you can actually have some money and start to get ahead and make some good choices. But for the majority of the population, you get screwed.
And the alternative?
Well, that's the question. What is the alternative? Communism is a great alternative.
Okay, explain that.
Well, communism is the idea that everybody gets an equal living situation and everybody has their place in society. Your jobs are chosen for you by the government. Like, you go through a schooling system and it's like, oh, hey, you'd be a great doctor. You go be a doctor. All your needs are taken care of. Nobody really gets ahead or on top. Everybody's kind of equal and you have your position in society. The problem with that is it all turns into socialism, where the people on top just rape everybody below.
I didn't really know anything about this.
It's like, how do you organize a world of this many people to be fair?
Right.
There's no actual solution for everybody to live a fair life. And what's happening in our capitalist society is the middle class is disappearing. You're getting more people on top, and
It needs to go in
You're-
the freezer.
yeah, you're getting a few people on top, and the majority of the population on the bottom and the middle is disappearing.
Disappearing.
That's what's happening.
So if you
More so in the States than here, but it's happening here, and it's going to keep happening here. Why does one family need to be worth billions and billions of dollars?
Right.
And the argument is, well, tax the rich. Well, the rich are the ones that fund the campaigns of the politicians that run our country. Therefore, they get a say in it.
Right. So like corporations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest, richest people in the country or people or corporations. Say I run for government. Walmart comes to me and says, "Hey, we'll fund your campaign, but you got to do this for us."
Ah, yes.
Not so blatantly. It's obviously a lot more subtle or backdoor.
Yeah.
No cameras or
It's
whatever.
kind of that slide of the hand thing.
Yeah. Hey, you need fucking $5 billion to win this election? Here you go. Just make sure you read this document and sign it while you do that.
Ah. I'm learning so much tonight.
It's how it works.
I didn't know any of this stuff. I'm kind of oblivious maybe to how the
That's the problem. That's exactly the problem.
yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I always vote for whoever's not in power. Because the only thing that can help is just switch them out constantly.
Right.
You can't have one person in power for too long. Just switch them and try to keep them on their toes for a little while.
Well, it's either liberal
Trudy-
or conservative
Well, that's,
here in Canada.
yeah. Well, it's the same thing in the States. They only have two parties.
With Democrats.
Yeah, it's the same
and
shit. It's
whatever.
liberal, conservative,
Yeah.
Democrats, whatever. Who cares? It's two parties. There's no good answer. Nobody has an answer. The only answer is for me to run the world. I'll run the world.
So, Dave for world leader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
There you go.
Oh, you got my vote.
But when's the next Canadian election? We'll start with that. Oh, she's gone.
Depends when they call it.
Well, it's every 4 years.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't we just have one?
It wasn't that long ago. Trudy won again,
I
which
know,
is
which is-
the worst thing that could happen.
Seems kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's no good solution, and this whole system's going to shit real quick.
Okay.
It's not going to get better. 2021 is going to be worse, and 2022 is going to be worse, and somewhere it's just going to hit the fan.
Okay, so for us middle class people, like what do you,
We're barely middle class.
I make 65,000 a year.
You're middle class. I'm not. I'm self-employed, so.
Yeah. But like I make 65,000 on the books a year
Gross or net?
before tax.
No, yeah. No, you're not middle class.
So I'm low class. Or
Lower middle.
Lower middle. Okay. So what's my future?
You'd probably stay right where you are if you stay working there. If you for some reason ended up out of your job, you're gonna go lower middle class or below. Because where are you gonna make that kind of money now in this area?
Well, I guess really the only thing is if you start up a business.
And run it successfully. The government restrictions on running a business now are ridiculous. Hiring employees, you can't do. Small business is so difficult to run now.
Yeah.
So difficult. You got to
Well,
file so many things with so many people, and
all right, let's just talk about this for a minute. So, I have a plan to start my own business this year in the spring with my Cadillac, I have an old Cadillac funeral coach, an old hearse that I've restored, and I'm going to put it back in service and use it and basically have my coach available for funeral services for families that want more of a nostalgia thing, see dad take his final ride to his final resting place in a vintage classic car versus something that's new. So like that's my business idea.
so that's a great idea.
Yeah.
However, you've got a cap on that. You've got one car and one driver.
That's right.
So you're not going to get upper middle class with one car and one driver.
No. But
so the only way you're going to move into upper middle class is to get more cars and more drivers.
Right.
So then you start running into insurance issues.
Yeah.
With having other drivers drive your cars.
That's right.
You start running into CBP, EI, all kinds of crap like that. You've got to file all that stuff. You got to pay a bookkeeper. Basically, when you hire someone as a small business for $15 an hour, it's going to cost you $23 an hour for them.
Right.
By the time you pay all the crap on them, and then the insurance and all that stuff on top of it.
Right.
And I mean, as a small business owner, that's a strangle on you, but it's also a strangle on the people that are working for you because it's hard for you to pay them more, even though you want to, because it costs so much. And the more it goes up, is the more the further that gap gets on.
Right. I understand. So the best way is just do it all under the table.
I would never do anything under the table.
Why not?
Well, what if you get caught? It's illegal. I'm not going to do anything under the table.
See, my whole plan is just get this car up and running and then just kind of do it for a year.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Just kind of do it under the table and just kind of see how it works and see if I can actually generate some business with some funeral
Well, under the
homes and
table's
stuff.
fine, but what if you get into an accident with a dead person in the back and the family sues you for all the crap, the emotional turmoil of seeing their dead one re-dead again on the highway?
I don't know. I guess I need to look into this some more.
Just all restrictions.
Right.
And it's all fine and dandy until something happens. As soon as something happens, then you're fucked.
Right.
And maybe your kids are fucked too, and your grandkids, depending on how the lawsuit goes and how much better their lawyer is than yours.
Right. Yeah.
Because they have an insurance company for their lawyer, and you don't.
Yeah. So it is kind of fucky.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The rich get richer, and the rest of us just make sure they get richer.
We just survive.
Yeah.
Sorry, and that's a capitalist society that we live in? Okay.
Yep.
So I always hear like quotes from movies and stuff like those commie bastards.
Yeah.
The fucking commies.
That's the rich people that say that.
I've heard that in movies and shit.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for what the perfect society is.
Right.
but I will definitely say what we're living in now is not working out.
Okay, let's do long-term prediction. Where do you see us as a society in 10 years?
It'll be something very, very different.
Oh, I'm
What it'll be, I have no idea.
Any ideas?
The most likely one, in my opinion, is it'll be a society where everything's gone to shit. There's been huge revolts, and it'll probably be, I don't want to say gangs. It'll be an uncivilized capitalist society, uncivilized, unregulated capitalist society. It's regulated to a certain extent now, but I think everything's going to crumble and fall apart, go to shit, and it's going to be people that know how to survive in whatever it becomes that are going to control it in smaller units.
So like smaller tribes.
Yeah.
Like give us some sort of an example. Like paint a picture of what, because I'm not even really sure what you, like, if you can paint that into a picture of an example.
I think everything's going to fall apart. The governments that we have are going to fall apart, and people are going to revolt eventually. And Canada's probably going to be one of the last ones to do it because we're just too nice to revolt,
Canadian.
to have a revolution, which I think is unfortunate.
So is this kind of like a civil war thing where you have people?
Yeah, I don't think an actual civil war is going to happen. I just think society's going to crumble.
Okay, and what does that look like?
It looks like then Huron County will basically be its own government that won't have any ties or support from a provincial or federal level. We'll just survive around here, and we'll figure it out on our own, and it's going to be fucking chaos until it reorganizes itself, and there will be leaders that emerge in smaller areas, and eventually it'll rebuild itself into the capitalist society that we have now. It's just going to take time, but it'll just go all to shit, and then it'll go back to what it was, and there will be a little bit of time where there's a middle class again, and then it's going to repeat. History's going to repeat itself.
So it's just a cycle, you think?
It's just a cycle, and I don't know how to break that cycle. I don't know where that cycle can be broken.
Okay, so
Unless the government actually succeeds in one world government now, and then that could be a different story, but...
Okay, so for me, who has small kids, as do you, what do you think the future holds for our children when they become adults?
I really feel sorry for them. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't think it's going to be positive for our offspring at all. I think there's going to be monumental financial outfalls from everything that's going on now, and that has been going on for the last 40, 50 years.
Well, we were discussing earlier this morning, Dave and I were doing some stuff together this morning. We were talking about government spending with the whole COVID thing, of there's just the country spending more dollars than what's being, basically pretty much most people, they make $1, they spend $2.
If a family ran its finances the way that the government does, they'd be bankrupt several times over by now.
Right.
They'd be without a house, they'd be without anything.
Right.
You'd be on the street.
So where do you see with that, of the whole excessive spending because of this pandemic?
Well, that's just on top of the already excessive spending. But they're borrowing every year. Every year we're borrowing money more and more and more and more. We're not paying down any debt. So say you're 20 years old, you get married, you borrow money for a house, you borrow money for a car, you borrow money for a boat, and then you can't make those payments, so you borrow more money and then buy some more shit.
Right.
You buy a cottage, and then you sell that boat, buy a bigger boat, and you just keep going further and further and further into debt. Where is that going to crumble? Sooner or later,
it's got to.
You're not going to keep up. You can't.
Right.
And that's exactly what our country is doing right now.
Right.
And the States even more so. Back in, 29, when the American economy crumbled there.
Yeah.
You know, they went to China and they're like, we need extra $60 billion from you this year. Raise our debt ceiling. I think it was $60 billion more they wanted to borrow. More
Right.
they wanted to borrow from China than they were already borrowing, or they'd already planned on borrowing. And they begged China to lend them more money. Wait a minute. The fuck? How are they going to pay that back? Let alone what they were regularly paying.
Right.
They can't even pay the interest on the debt they owe. Nor can we.
Now, another thing that I don't know, like I'm openly admitting, like I know nothing about a lot of the stuff that he's talking about. I don't know, maybe I'm very sheltered, or I don't, like, this is all, like, I'm learning so much from listening to him right now on this podcast, but just like the whole concept of money. It's like what is money? Like, what the fuck
It's
is
nothing anymore.
like money? Really, like what like what is money? Like, I go to work, I work 44 hours a week, right? I get a paycheck, but it's just a number. It's just something, a number that goes into the system that says, okay, this much dollars goes into this account, and then with my debit card I just swipe, and then
And
just
somebody takes that value
and then
and puts it in there, and then they spend it somewhere else.
right.
and
So it's
around
like
the ground,
really,
around
like
and around
money
it goes.
doesn't even money's not even a thing.
No.
Like it's
Well, the
a
origin of
it's like a concept,
the origin of money was that
gold or something.
were precious metals.
Right.
There's different values for different metals, and originally you traded the metals, and they're like, well, wait a minute, why don't we make tokens
Mm-hmm.
for these metals? Like, instead of carrying around a fucking silver coin this big to pay for something, we'll just make a token
Right.
that represents that value, and that silver is actually here,
Right.
and you can trade the value of that silver that's held in trust here. You can just trade that piece of paper instead of carrying around like.
Right.
And that's how it went, and it always used to be that the amount of gold, it eventually was just gold, but in the beginning it was multiple precious metals.
Right.
So whatever the government had in reserve of that gold was the value of the money they had. But now we've gotten away from that system, and there's been multiple situations in history where countries have just started printing money with no basis behind it. And that's why when we go to Mexico, like $1 buys thousands of pesos.
Right.
Because they just printed money with no basis for it. But now that's happening all over the world, especially with the COVID thing. Countries have started printing money like crazy just to give us our CRB checks. And if it's not based on anything, eventually you get hyperinflation. So a loaf of bread costs you $2,000.
Right.
I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know.
It was just a rant on hyperinflation,
But yeah, it's just like,
oh, because you were saying that you get your paycheck and there's X number of dollars on that paycheck.
yeah, there's no
and
actual
basis
there's
behind
no
it.
there's no exchange of any
Good.
tangible money. It's just a number in a system.
Right, which is the way the government wants it.
So
Because then they can control all those numbers.
I understand that part, but it's so we're like in so many, they lend us $60 billion or whatever. How do you repay that? It's like, I don't know. It's just the number in a system, isn't it?
It is just a number in a system, but it's still money owed.
Right. I don't know. It's just, I really don't.
Like, you can go to the bank and get a mortgage for a house and then say, well, there's just numbers on the computer. Like, why do I have to pay it back? Well, they're going to take your fucking house.
Yeah, I know, but it just, I don't know. I don't understand.
You're agreeing to an obligation of a certain amount that was agreed upon.
Right.
So, you either give back those numbers on a computer or something that's equally valuable, which I think China's going to eventually just take over the world by recalling their debt. And when these countries say we can't pay the debt, they're like, all right, well, you've got this timber, you've got this oil, you've got this gold, you've got this whatever, just give us that land and we'll harvest it, and eventually they'll just own the fucking world. Like, if China was to go to the US right now and say, nope, we're not lending you any more money, you pay us back today, what's the states gonna do? States, you've got 10 years to pay us back. What's the states gonna do? They got fucking nothing anymore.
Right.
They can't pay that back. They got no hope in hell of paying it back, and China fucking well knows it. All China's doing is well, it's not just China. China's the major player, but there's Indonesia, India. There's lots of other countries that are doing it, but they're taking their slave labor and selling shit to the U.S. and the U.S. pays money for it. That money goes to China, and then China's like, shit, we're out of money. We need to buy more of your stuff. Can you lend us some money? So the China's like, here you go. Here's some money, States. And the States takes it and spends it all to China. And they're like, oh, we're out of money to spend shit with China. China's like, here's some more money. So China's lending the States their own money to buy their shit back.
Let's see. I don't know, it just all sounds fucky to me.
It is. 100%.
It just sounds
Stupid.
But I guess that's just the way it is, I guess.
Remember the last time we drove through the States, the amount of fucking malls? Like, the States is just shopping malls after shop. Everybody's based on a consumer economy.
Yeah.
And where does all that consumer goods come from?
China.
Overseas at the very
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Majority of it China, yes, but there's lots of other countries.
Yeah, but
But the majority of it China, yes.
Hmm.
You go into any one of those strip malls that are like one every 3 blocks in the States, and you flip over anything, and yeah, the majority of it's
China,
made in China, made in China,
Hong-
made in China,
yeah.
made in China.
So what? So like China's like the richest
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, totally there.
Okay.
Yep.
So how long before China invades North America?
They're not going to invade it. They're not going to invade it. They have no reason to invade it. They already own it.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess.
Why would you send an army for something you already own?
Interesting.
Sounds like a waste of money to me.
I guess so. This is just even uncomfortable, even just talking about this shit.
It's a reality. It's a reality nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to discuss, and nobody wants to admit. It is. Somebody tell me otherwise. If you see it otherwise, or you have proof there's anything different, you put it in the comments or send us a message or some shit. I don't know. That's the way it is.
Yikes.
Don't have kids.
Yeah. Well, I guess if we take this COVID vaccine, we won't be.
Well, that's what I think. That's what the world needs. The world needs less people. There's too many people in this world right now. That goes back to the discussion of if everybody lived like we did, the planet can't support it. We need like, I don't know how many planets. We need less people on this planet. People are the biggest parasite on this planet.
Yeah. We're just.
I mean, I don't want to be one of the ones that goes now, or my family or my kids or my friends, but
Right.
we just need less people on this planet.
And we're destroying the planet too.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of global warming theory. I don't think that's as big a thing as it's made out to be. However, I do totally agree that people are destroying this planet
Oh, absolutely.
in so many different ways. And the only thing that's going to stop that, you can give me all this recycle, reuse, reduce, recycle bullshit you want. The only solution is less people. That's it. That's what it boils down to. You can't keep having more people and trying to save the planet. It's not going to work.
Right.
Not going to work. Less people, only solution.
Interesting.
Because really, how can we sit here and say we want to, save the planet and have more people? Well, the only way that works is if more people live in more squalor.
Right.
And we're not willing to be those people.
No.
So what does that make us? Judgmental pricks.
Right.
Entitled.
Entitled. I was
Judgmental
actually
pricks.
thinking entitled.
I would love for everybody on the planet to live like I do right now. But for that to happen, we need more planets.
Well, Elon Musk is trying to send people to Mars, so
Send more.
trying to get people to Mars.
But I don't think that's the solution. Isn't to find more planets. That's not the solution.
It's unrealistic.
Realistic or not, Like, why don't we focus on changing what we need to change here to make it work? Instead of being like, oh, we fucked this up, let's go find somewhere else to fuck up. We're not learning anything then.
No.
As a species, we're not learning anything. We're just going somewhere else to fuck that up. Anyways, we're way over our normal time.
Yep, we're at an hour 19. So that was actually a pretty interesting twist to that. Hey, I learned a lot. I was pretty much oblivious to a lot of this shit. I just kind of do my thing. I like
Yeah, Sheldon gets up, goes to work, goes has his kids, whatever.
Yeah, just like everybody else, I guess.
Just a normal person doing what the government, just another wheel in the cog, or cog in the, how's that saying go?
I don't know.
Just another cog, no, another cog in the machine.
Yeah, or like following the herd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's episode 20, our year in review, and
It's kind of ironic that 20 is a review of 2020.
yeah, episode 20, a year 2020. But
That was not planned.
no, I actually wasn't playing at all.
I didn't realize that until now.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's episode 20 in the books, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.